This is just a general overview, especially Bahalaka who live in the Limpopo valleys. Now I'm going to be exploring the origin of Bahalaka. As you know that Bahalaka, or the people of the sun, as defined by Peter Sibina in his articles, which was published in 1931. Peter Sibina from Botswana defined Makalaka, or in South Africa we call them Bahalaka, in Zimbabwe we call them Karanga, as a people of the sun. So Makalaka or Bahalaka or Karanga means people of the sun. Now when you talk about the historiography of Bahalaka in South Africa, especially in South Africa, apartheid created impression that Bahalaka are people from Zimbabwe and Botswana, not South African. But ironically, if you look at the Bantustan flags, the former homeland of South Africa, which was created for black South Africans when they were removed from their ancestral land, this Bantustan had cultural signifiers. Among almost 10 Bantustan in Namibia, South Africa, there's one Bantustan which has a cultural signifier of Bahalaka, or people of the sun. Lebowa, which is found in Limpopo, had a cultural signifier that represent Bahalaka. It has a sun and blue sky and green colors. These are the representatives of Bahalaka, which means that apartheid government recognized Bahalaka powers. Because when you examine specifically each cultural signifiers in different Bantustan, you can see that these cultural signifiers that were actually based on ethnographic history of the black people by apartheid government, some of those signifiers were correct. We're actually describing who Africans or black African are. Actually, Lebowa Bantustan was actually represented by Bahalaka. It has a sun, and then it also has a blue, which represents blue sky, as well as the greens, which is the color of Bahalaka, which represented life. So, as I said, when you talk about Bahalaka, we are not talking about ordinary tribes. We are talking about the people who brought great civilization in South Africa from the present-day Swaziland. By the way, for those who are not aware, before Swazi live in Swaziland, the indigenous tribe that live in Swaziland were Basotho. Yes. The word Sothos, it's a Halaka term which is adopted by Sotho tribe, like Northern Sotho and Western Sotho. It means brown color from Mala Yomosotho. That's where you say Basotho, meaning from Mala Yomosotho, brown colors. Now, before I go in details about this Bahalaka, where do they come from? All evidence that I have from oral history and archives point out that Bahalaka or Bakalaka, Makalaka or Karangas, they're the industrial tribes, very innovative. They are rainmakers. They are gold miners. As you see, their emblem is sun. Sun is represented by gold. Now, they are animal breeders. The indigenous cattle of Highveld, South Africa, known as Sotho Tswana Nguni cattle. They are breeded by Nguni. They call them Nguni cattle. They are breeded by Sotho Tswana cattle. They are found in Highveld, where you find them among Bapedi, you find among Bakwena, you find among Zulus, you find among Xhosas. They actually breeded by Makalaka or Bahalaka. They're only found in those tribes. Now, according to oral history, they come from modern-day Sudan, close to Egypt. How do we know that? We know that the capital city, where Bahalaka, they live in the capital city of former Sudan, which is called Dongola. And they left Dongola, which means red bricks in Arabic. Dongola, which means red brick in Arabic. They come to South Africa via Swahili Coast, which is Tanzania. They landed up in South Africa, Limpopo. In Limpopo, Bakhalaka have got one of the greatest, cultural signifiers. So within Limpopo Village, there is a mountain outside Musina. It's called Dongola. The word Dongola in Musina, it's named Bakhalaka. It's from the word Dungola in Sudan, capital city of Sudan, in ancient Nubia, Sudan. So when you hear people say Dongola, Dongola in Sudan, we also have Dongola in South Africa. It's just because some people, I think now it's called Dongola Vembe, but original term is called Dongola. It was named Bakhalaka. Babirwa called that place Bulai. It's called Dongola outside Musina. It's named by Bakhalaka when they come from Sudan via Tanzania. Bakhalaka, or the people of the sun, as I said in some of my videos, they give birth to tribes that you see in South Africa before the classification. As you know, that South African tribes were created for classification. Those Sotho speakers, all of them are linked to Bakhalaka. You go to Phalaborwa, Mpedi mine in Musina, Thabazimbi in the Waterberg. You go to Mpumalanga, go Pilgrim Rest, you go outside Polokwane, you go to South African Highveld. Those tribes that are linked to these pre-colonial mining civilizations are linked to Bakhalaka. I'll explain further what I mean. The oldest mine in Southern Africa is found in Swaziland. The original tribe of Swaziland, before Swati comes, Swati identity emerged. It's called Sotho speakers. These Sotho speakers are actually Bakhalaka, and then the first people, in fact, the first Sotho speakers who emerge, especially in South African inland, as you know that all historians and then cultural observers and travelers, they believe that the first people to arrive in South Africa are the Sotho speakers. These Sotho speakers are Bakhalaka. I'll illustrate, I'll show you what do I mean when I say the first people to arrive in South Africa are Bakhalaka. And then from there, they give birth to different groups, Ngunis, Sotho Tswana groups. I'll focus, before I expand it, I'll start by focusing on the Sotho Tswana people. The Sotho Tswana people, we know that they trace their ancestor from the Barolong. Barolong are called Babina Chipi Yentuenodo. Before they changed their totem. This Barolong, which are also known as Banaba Malawaswilo or Babina Chipientu, they trace their ancestry from Nyatimbi. Nyatimbi is the ancestors, oldest ancestors, who live in the Limpopo valleys in the Zimbabwe side. It's called Nyatimbi. Nyatimbi are the people who are known as rainmakers. They are known for various innovation around South Africa and Botswana and Zimbabweans. Now, Bakhalaka people, Barolong, they give birth to Bakwena as well as Bahurute. The word Bahurute does not have explanation.